Hot take, most women lose a man because they stop doing the little things, the quiet things, the way you talk to him, the way you treat him, and yeah, how you show up at night. That's what keeps a relationship alive.
I can't wait to find a good man. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Whew, to find a good man.
He kissed me. He didn't even spit in my mouth. Like, when are men gonna, understand what women want?
Okay, I know that there are good guys out there. Like, I truly do know that. But can someone please tell me where they are? Because clearly they are not where I am looking.
Tell me, when did the bar get so low? Tell me, where did the good ones all go? Tell me all kinds of things, 'cause you'd say anything just to get me alone. Used to think that the rush was a good thing. Heart jumps from the floor to the ceiling. Lying there in your arms, should've heard the alarms, but I wasn't listening.
The absence is being felt now in a way it wasn't a few years ago, mostly because the men who used to be reliably present, the stable ones, the consistent ones, the ones who didn't require managing, quietly stopped showing up to a game they'd concluded wasn't worth playing.
Talk about how in this economy, if you are intending to marry and have children, your partner must have at least enough liquidity to take you to the Cheesecake Factory on a first date.
I have a lot to say about this video, so let's unpack it slowly. First off the bat, what high-value man is going to assume that every single first date he's going to go on is going to be the one that he is going to go the rest of his life with? Which one? Because I don't think it's actually a healthy mindset, because he has to make sure you're actually a high-value woman. Because especially these days, there are a crap ton of crazies out there. Quick distraction, look at that little guy getting his sunshine. He's stretching his wings and everything. Oh my goodness. Oh. Sorry, distractions. I like birds. He's so cute. And in addition to it not being smart mentally to go and assume that every single person who you're going on a date with is going to be the one you spend the rest of your life with, it's also really bad for you financially. Like, do you really think that the guy who is going and assuming each and every date that he goes on, spending hundreds of dollars on each of them, frivolously, do you really think that he's going to be the one who's going to be able to pay for you financially later in life? Or do you think maybe he's the one throwing money just to get attention? Like, how long are you sure that this is actually going to last? That he's actually going to be able to keep providing for you? She goes and compares herself to Madonna and other famous women when those women already have reputations and they are well known throughout the world. So they have that high value with them already. Random people they meet off the street, they're not gonna know if they're high value or not. Not to mention, have you ever noticed that the men who do throw around money like that are usually the ones who have to apologize for something? Like infidelity. As much as I love women's empowerment, sometimes we need to remember that we need to prove our worth still too.
I want the hard truth.
Nah, be careful, gentlemen. She doesn't really want that. She wants you to tell her what she thinks she already knows and then say it's the truth.
I don't know any good men.
That's bullshit. Check your friend zone. There's a ton of them there. You know, the guys that treated you exactly how you wanted to be treated, which was a giant turnoff once they did. Those guys.
I hope this reaches a lot of people. I hope this doesn't flop.
Me too. I think a ton of guys could avoid some immeasurable pain with the words that are coming.
They all end up being like sort of the same level, completely disappointing and disgusting.
As she shovels food in her mouth. And that's where women like this come in. Because odds are high that any asshole guy that you meet today was once a really, really good and loving guy who got with a woman who treated his kindness and mistook it for weakness. Patience, love, understanding in the wrong women's hands and hearts will destroy a man. Because those traits are exploited, not embraced. And that's why good men are realizing that being a good man to most of today's single women will not end up being good for that man.
It wasn't one bad relationship. It was the fifth one that looked exactly like the first four, each time believing this one would be different, each time discovering the same patterns of entitlement, inconsistency, or disrespect. Eventually, a reasonable person stops running the same experiment and expecting a new result.
The moment I stopped seeking validation from people was the moment I actually found myself and found confidence and actually was a happier person. Because at the end of the day, if you're seeking validation from everyone else in your life, right, are you actually living for yourself or are you living for them? And that's the question you have to ask yourself. They aren't going to have to wake up in your body every morning. They're not going to have to step in your shoes every morning. They're not living your life. You are living your life. So why are you craving validation from other people in your life? I don't care how close these people are to you. If you're craving validation from them and doing things for their sake and their happiness, you will never be happy or be fulfilled. And then you question, well, why am I so upset? Why don't I like where I am? Why do I want to change this? Why do I want to change that? It's because you're doing it for everyone else and not for yourself. If you truly want to be happy, no. You, not all these other people, you. If you want to be happy, you need to do things that make you happy. Okay, what's meant for you? What would fulfill me? What would make me happy? Not them, not that person, not this person, you.
If you're a woman, riddle me this. Have you ever met a single good man in your entire life? Because I just recently saw a video of a woman how she was reflecting on the fact that she's never met a good man. And it made me reflect on how I have literally never met a good man in my entire life. Have never met a man who was braver than me, smarter than me, kinder than me, who wasn't selfish, who wasn't a cheater, who wasn't dishonest, who wasn't a predator, who didn't tolerate other predators, who didn't say sexist jokes, who wasn't someone who like stood up for people. Like, I've literally never met a good man before. Not once. I couldn't name you one. And for those who comment, it's gotta be someone you actually know. Not someone you just met, not a celebrity, someone you know. And I don't know any women that have met good men, actually. Maybe the ones that are married, but even then, the longer I talk to them, the more miserable that they seem. Even, like, I can say, like, oh, all the good men are taken, but then a lot of these women that are married are stuck with bums and losers and doing all the work. And it's just like, what is the point? What is the point of being with a man? Like, I don't... God, the deal sucks. The deal really sucks. Like, I could do myself way better, and I'm gonna finish every single time, and it's gonna be satisfying, and it's gonna be awesome, without risking diseases, without risking getting my heart played with, my mind played with. And it's just like, it's literally not worth it. It's not worth the therapy. It's not worth it. And so I think I'm just gonna go back to my 19-year-old self and just have my little phase and just have fun. Because, like, all of these players have the lover girls kind of done. That's how I'm feeling. I'm just done. So I'm just gonna enjoy myself, because I know how to have a good time no matter what I do, no matter who I'm with. I know I'm a cash and a half and a million and 1,200 billion. Like, I am such an amazing person and an amazing lover. I cannot be giving myself away for free. Like, what are we doing here?
The explanation offered is almost always the same one. He couldn't handle a strong woman. It's a tidy story because it requires no self-examination whatsoever. The alternative explanation, that specific behaviors, not general strength, drove these men away, requires an honesty that's considerably less comfortable to sit with.
Pro tip for y'all, stop seeking validation from a world and from people who crucified a perfect man. You need to learn how to love yourself and be okay with yourself. And I know that is so freaking hard to hear, because I literally was struggling all up until literally 2 days ago. I didn't love myself because I love myself. I love myself only when other people love me. When I felt loved by other people is when I decided to love myself. No, Jesus loves you every single second of every single day. You need to learn how to love yourself every single second of every single day, even when it feels like you're literally about to blow up and explode because so many things are happening in your life. Like, you still, at the end of the day, need to put yourself first. You need to love yourself. And don't be selfish and greedy and that kind of thing, but be selfish and put yourself above all these boys that you're putting above yourself, above these girls that you're putting above yourself. Like, no. Put yourself first. Learn how to love yourself, love the Lord, and then you can give back to everybody else. Life feels so rewarding once you love yourself for you and not because other people love you. And I don't know if that makes sense, but if it makes sense, it makes sense. Anyways, I just went and bought myself flowers. Usually I would never buy myself flowers because they're expensive. Yeah, we all hear the excuse. We hear from guys all the time, you know what I mean? But, like, Buy yourself the flowers. Don't wait for a man to buy them for you because, girl, they probably ain't gonna do it, okay? So go, the good man will. The good men will. They will go buy you the flowers. They will do all the things. They will do the little things, all of what you want, but you need to put yourself first, and then you'll find that man. You'll find the man who treats you right when you start treating you right. I just went and got my nails done because I wanted to get them done, not because anybody else was like, oh, your nails, whatever. I got myself flowers. I got myself some energy drinks. Now I'm about to go to the gym. I was supposed to go hang out with some friends, and I was like, why am I hanging out with these friends? Like, I know they're bad influences. I might as well go to the gym and better myself and put myself first, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that's going to make me a better person. Not going hanging out with these friends that I know we're going to do bad things. Hello? Anyways, I love you guys so much, but you need to love yourself more than I freaking love you, because I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Jesus is perfect, and Jesus loves you for who you are, so you need to accept and love yourself for who you are. Okay, anyways, I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you later. I have so many fun, exciting things coming up. I'm so excited. Anyways, I love you. Bye.
Why do you need the people that hurt you to acknowledge your hurt? My therapist blew my mind this morning. She said, why are you fighting so hard to have people who hurt you acknowledge that they hurt you? And I was like, I guess I just want validation. And she looked at me and she said, you know how it felt. You went through that pain. You know that pain. Stop giving power back to the people who had no problems causing that harm. You don't need it. You want it, but you don't need it because you've overcome it. You've taken all of the things that have happened to you, she's talking about me, and you grew from it. It changed you. It changed you for the better. I don't need anyone to acknowledge that they hurt me. I don't need anyone to acknowledge that they caused me pain. I want it, but I don't need it. And neither do you.
Every good man who exits doesn't just remove one option. He removes the example other men might have aspired to and the standard women could have measured against. The pool doesn't just shrink, it degrades, because the men setting the bar left first and took the bar with them.
You know, I think the most unattractive thing a man can do is when they're not protective and when they don't take the initiative to just be masculine. Like, if I'm struggling with a bag, help me. I know I could do it by myself, help me. If I'm like carrying a load of stuff up the stairs, just take it. Why am I struggling and you're watching? Also, walking me everywhere because you don't want me to walk in the dark, please. I don't want to be let to walk in the dark on my own. Like, I need you to come across overseas to come and walk me back to my house. What happened to that chivalry? Also, if I'm stranded somewhere saying, oh, like, it's a bit of a walk, order me an Uber. Order me an Uber. Like, it's really not too much to ask. It's not too much to ask because I got my dad for that. And if you can't fit the bill, that's all.
How I lost sight of my worth, and this is going to be the last one, part 4, and this is the boyfriend. This is probably the hardest one for me to discuss and talk about because it was a very difficult time in my life. I was in a relationship with a guy for 3 years, and he had a really hard life. And with the mixture of alcohol, he became a very unkind person. And he treated me very poorly for a long time. Said horrible things, did horrible things, and just was very unkind. And because I felt like all of my peers, all of the friends, my parents, that none of them loved me, and he did, this is what love was like. Or this is the best I deserved. And he convinced me too that no one would love me. That if I left him, there would be nobody that would love me. I believed that. I stayed in a horrible relationship for way too long and let my worth diminish. I lost sight of my worth. And finally, when I got the courage, when I made that switch in my brain that I deserved more, that I deserved better, and that the unknown was better than the darkness I was in, I went on the journey. I searched for something bigger than myself. I wanted to know what my purpose was. Was I lovable? Was I worthless? Was there something bigger than myself out there? And I did. I went on a search, a quest for light, for truth, for love, and I found it. I found God, and this changed me. I became a daughter of God. I knew I was a daughter of God, and because of that, I knew I was loved. I was worthy. I was chosen. I was precious. And that knowledge that I was worthy, that I was loved, changed my life. I no longer let people mistreat me. I no longer stayed quiet. I used my voice. I used it for good. And I became the captain of my ship. I steered my life towards the light. I got out of the darkness, and it literally changed my life. And now I am so happy. I'm so happy. I have the best relationship, the best kids, and the best relationship with God.
There's always a specific name in these stories. The one who showed up consistently, who wasn't exciting enough at the time, who got compared unfavorably to someone flashier who didn't last. He's married now, to someone who recognized what she almost had access to and didn't let it pass by.
Man, we gotta stop letting other people validate who we are and who we want to become. At the end of the day, it's God, yourself, your wife, and your kids. That's what matters. And understand, when you take care of your relationship with God, you start taking care of yourself. And when you start taking care of yourself, your family reaps the benefits from all of it. So I'm here to tell you, stop letting other people validate who you are, what you want to become. Go dark, go do your thing, become who you want to become, and watch what happens.
A man becomes dangerous when he stops needing constant validation from other people to believe in himself. That's when his decisions stop being emotional and start being intentional.
The best moment in a man's life is when he finally realizes that his happiness does not depend on anybody else. Every man has a breaking point, and it's the moment his entire life shifts for the better. Not because he stops loving his family, not because he becomes selfish, but because he finally wakes up. Most men tie their identity to being needed, but that pressure destroys them silently. A good man spends years carrying everybody else, his kids, his partner, his parents, but the same man often forgets the only person he can't replace, himself. And then life hits him hard, a betrayal, the loss of a child, a divorce, bankruptcy, a collapse that shakes his entire sense of worth. But then something clicks. The question changes. It stops being, what do I need to do for everybody else? And it becomes, what am I doing for myself? That is the moment a man stops surviving and starts rebuilding. He invests in himself, his health, his future, his mission, his mind, and his peace. Because now he understands the truth that most men never get to learn. If his happiness depends on anybody else, he's fragile. If that person leaves or if the job disappears, his entire world falls with it. But once he chooses himself, he becomes unshakable. So if you see a man suddenly focusing on his goals, his routine, and his purpose, don't panic. He's not pulling away from you. He's pulling himself out of the life he built on fear. He's no longer with somebody because he needs them. He is with somebody because he chooses to be with them. Because he's finally building a happiness that comes from within. There's a big difference between a man who needs a woman and a man who chooses to be with one. One is dependency, the other is power. When a man learns how to create his own peace, his own stability, his own identity, he brings a love that is grounded, steady, and intentional. A love that is not born from fear or losing somebody, but from strength and knowing exactly who he is without them. And that's when a man becomes dangerous in the best possible way because he finally knows his own worth. Be dangerous.
He's not bitter about it anymore. That phase passed a while ago. He's just built something he's not willing to risk, on a market that's shown him consistently what it produces. The good men aren't coming back, because coming back would mean unlearning everything the absence taught them, and the lesson was too valuable to forget. Alpha Reloaded. Subscribe. Tell us below. What made you finally give up on modern dating?